many of you are at least somewhat aware of Marion Skip Blount. He's been to a couple of our Minnesota Films meetings, and we've seen, I don't know, 2 or 3 different films with him acting in those films, and he's really a terrific actor. And now one thing you should know about Skip is that he does a lot of traveling. You might find him in Tampa, Jacksonville, Atlanta, North Carolina, you never know. Well, as a matter of fact, he came to visit with us while he's shooting a commercial up in Clearwater. So we're happy to have him stay with us. And we thought we would take the opportunity to sit down and ask him a few questions about his acting career and about other things in general. And we thought we would share the interview with you so that you might get to know Skip a little bit better. So here it is. I'm going to go through his stuff.
We are so happy to have you here. Before we begin asking questions, the first thing everybody, I think, wants to know is, do we call you Marion or do we call you Skip?
Actually, either one is fine. Skip is a childhood nickname that I was given by my grandmother. For those that haven't known me that long, they call me Marion. But whatever you're comfortable with, you know, that's fine. I'll answer to that.
And where did she come up with Skip?
Actually, an uncle of hers was his nickname, Skip. So I guess I favored him as a child or whatever, and that's how I got the nickname.
Huh. Well, I like Skip, so if it's okay with you,
that is fine.
You'll be Skip to me.
Okay, that's cool.
Okay. What is it that you like about acting?
I enjoy the fact that you can tap on all of your emotions and portray that, and kind of like make others that are watching feel a certain way as well. If you're good at what you're doing, you can make someone's day, or you can make them sad. You can make them not like you, you know, after watching a certain piece or whatever. So it gives you a certain amount of power, and I like that.
That's an interesting take on it.
Yeah.
How long have you been acting?
This is I'm going on my 4th year now. I started off as a model in DC. I did some print work up there, and we were kind of forced to take acting workshops. So back then I didn't want to get into acting because I thought actors were arrogant, and I thought they were egotistical, and I didn't want to be a part of that.
And that's not true?
That's not true at all. Once I got into acting, I found out, people that just enjoy the craft.
So you like the people that you've met acting?
I've met some wonderful people since I moved to Tampa. You and Mark especially, and it's been great.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, when you modeled, what did you model? Clothes or?
Clothes, what comes to mind, I had to do some print work with a pit bull.
What?
Yeah. And I'm an animal lover, so I wasn't afraid. My agent asked me if I would be comfortable doing it, and I was like, sure. I love dogs. But when I saw him, I was like, he's a big boy.
What did you do with a pit bull?
I just had to take pictures, and the client was, I think they were in Europe somewhere. And it was so long ago, I can barely remember. I think it was back in '92, somewhere back in that time frame. But
that's crazy.
It was fun. I enjoyed it. It made me want a pit bull.
Well, so from pit bull, I'm curious, what type of roles do you prefer?
That's interesting that you asked that. I want to play comedic roles. I want to get into comedy, but I keep getting the same type of tough guy roles because I frown. So I've been told. I'm probably frowning now, and I have to keep my eyebrows up so I don't. But it's a comfortable feeling that I'm always frowning because I'm pensive or whatever. I'm always thinking about stuff. But I'm trying to transition into comedy or something that's a little less aggressive.
Did you ever think those big shoulders of yours were going to be a negative?
Well, that's because I enjoy working out. I mean, I can't help that. I'm actually trying to slim down from working out so much. I have lost 10 pounds. So that's something that I'm doing on purpose to try to be taken more serious and get more in different type of roles, whatever.
What's your philosophy about acting, actually?
Acting to me is not the actual act of delivering your lines on scene when they yell action. Acting to me is when you pull up in your car, you're that character. That means that you're all set to go. And I'm no longer Marion Skip Blount. I'm whoever my character is, you know, in the car, and I'm ready to go. It's not the fact that I'm on set and I'm giving my lines. To me, that's not acting, because if I'm acting, I'm not that person. I'm Marion Skip Blount acting as someone else. But when I'm on set, I'm that person. You know, Marion Skip Blount is another personality. So I have to become someone else in order to make it believable. Because if I'm not believable, you just see Marion Skip Blount being, you know, someone else. And I'm not doing my job.
So you're very serious about this, even if it's a comedic role. This is a career choice for you.
Everything in acting I take serious. I've been on sets where people joke around and laugh in between takes. And to me, I'm focused all the time. You know, I don't like getting distracted, because I like to focus on what's going on and what's happening in that scene, on the story. Because to me, it's like I'm reading a book, and then some guy walks in and he wants to do, you know, tell jokes or riddles or whatever, and I'm like, you interrupted me, dude. I'm trying to, you know, finish reading this story. So I take it very serious.
Well, we're running out of time, and I'd like to ask you a kind of difficult question, a personal question.
Mm-hmm.
You lost your wife in a terrible tragedy. How has that, I won't ask how it's affected you personally, but has it changed your acting in some way?
To a degree it has. I feel like I almost had to start over, because I took a big break from acting, and I wasn't sure if I was going to continue, because we did a lot of things together. We were like this all the time. And but you know, I could go on and on about that. It's a long story. To make it short, my faith in God is what kept me going. That's, you know, that's to keep this interview from going like for days, because I can keep talking about it all day long. But it's my faith in God that keeps me going.
So you're acting, and she's kind of maybe with you while you're doing it.
She's always with me. I'm always talking to her. You know, she's my inspiration as well as my mother. You know, so I have like two angels watching over me, and I keep that in the back of my mind. You know, I don't take it, you know, lightly. You know, people think, well, you're not talking about it, you must not be thinking about it. Not true. I think about my wife and my mom every day. You know, they were the most influential women in my life. And so what I do, every role that I do, every good scene or good role that I do is dedicated to them.
It's been a pleasure, Skip, and we'll all enjoy seeing your next role, your next film, and I hope it's a comedy.
Well, I hope so too. I mean, I was I know I was telling Mark this story about how I got into acting, and we were joking about it. I told him I didn't want to do it at first for two reasons. The first reason I told you about, I thought acting was for like arrogant people, these egomaniacal people. But then I grew up in front of people as a kid, because my mom and my dad sang, and they just naturally thought, you know, I'll stick him out there, he'll do it. And then as I became old, when I got older, I was in a church group. I was the president. I had to give like monthly reports or whatever. And my cousin whispers to me in front of all these people while we're sitting down, and I'm up next. I'm the president. And he says, "Don't you ever get nervous?" And I was like, nervous? What the heck does that mean? He was like, "Don't you ever get afraid all these people watching you? And they're watching every move you make, and they're like listening to every word you're saying." I had no idea what butterflies were. And so that scarred me for like years. I would be at like regular jobs where you have to do, you'd have to facilitate meetings, and I would like hide. I would like, don't pick me. I don't want to be in charge. I didn't like being in front of people anymore, just because of that. Because it was now something that I thought about. You know, normally as a kid, I didn't think about it. I thought everybody got up in front of people and spoke, but I got past it.
Well, that's one reason why family's tough to have around.
Yeah, exactly.
Thanks.
Thank you so much. Thank you guys for having me.